Me too, fellas, me too. After 3 weeks, early voting wrapped up just about an hour ago. We looked into how voter turnout was for two of our biggest Central Georgia elections, Houston and Bleckley counties. Jessica Cha tells us more about how mixed turnout has been.
For some, early voting means beating the rush on Election Day.
I have injury in my leg, and it works better for me if I come out when there's not a crowd.
But voting means so much more to Hank Allen, who's lived in Warner Robins for 43 years.
I think it's my civic duty to make sure I put my voice in who gets elected.
But Houston County Board of Registrar Site Manager E.K. Hill says not everyone shares that opinion.
Well, this early voting has been very, very slow.
When we spoke Friday morning, he says numbers at both voting sites were over 1,930 folks out of over 100,000 registered voters.
And it's very low, yes.
He says it could be because it's not a presidential election and it's a countywide splost and city council seat on the line instead.
So for that reason, they don't come out to vote. Kind of makes me feel kind of bad because people don't take it seriously, and they should take all voting seriously.
We wasn't expecting to have an election in our county, but it has been going well so far.
Bleckley County's Chief Registrar Cheryl Ates says this is a special election.
Who would be our next sheriff?
When we spoke at noon, she said over 1,300 folks had cast a vote out of 8,000 registered voters.
People are getting more interested in registering to vote in our county, but over 8,000, that's really good, I think.
Ates says it could be due to more folks moving to the area, like Jack Wall, who moved here 6 years ago.
The office of the sheriff is maybe as important an office as there is in county government.
Wall says elections for sheriffs don't happen often, and the turnout shows how important this is to the county.
Everyone should have the right to vote, and everyone should exercise that right.
In Bleckley, Jessica Cha, 13 WMAC News.
And we asked him for Scythe, and the registrar's office told us they had more than 500 early voters and 90 absentee ballots. They said the turnout was just okay for having 3,400 registered voters. The Baldwin County office says turnout has been low, but expected it in an odd election year. They say over 930 people have voted out of almost 28,000 registered voters. Election day is Tuesday. Some voting day reminders. You need to bring a government-issued photo ID like a driver's license. Make sure to know where your polling location is. It's on your voter registration card, and you can also use the My Voter page on the Georgia Secretary of State's website to find out, or call your Board of Elections office. Polling places are open on Election Day from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. Remember, if you are in line by 7 p.m., you are allowed to cast your ballot. A former Houston County sergeant is the first candidate for sheriff in next year's election. Slate Simmons announced on Wednesday he's running. He wants to replace Cullen Talton. Talton was elected in 1972, and he's been the state's longest-serving sheriff. Slate started with the Houston County Sheriff's Department in 2000 as a jailer, but he's also been a patrol officer, an investigator, SWAT team leader, and a canine officer. He left the department in 2020. Now Simmons says he's ready to rejoin law enforcement because he wants a united community.
I want to host public events. Come meet us, come talk to us. I want to be just like Sheriff Talton. He has an open door policy, he always has. It's something I'll never forget as long as I live. And it's one of the things that I relish the most is because I wanted to be like that.
Simmons is running as a Republican. The primary election will be in May, and the next sheriff will be elected next November in the general election.